Podcast starts at 19 seconds.
How's everybody doing out there in Fit the Description land? It's me, Jimmy D. Okay, James D. Evans sitting here, coming through with a little bit of an update on what's been happening. Okay, so if you guys haven't heard the news yet, yeah, G had to be terminated. I mean, something about lunches or some break room. I don't know. Look, man, I was I just was the bearer of bad news, okay? I like the guy just as much as you guys did, but he had to go. And I mean, right now he seems to not be taking it too well. He's got some litigation going on. So I actually got some of the footage from when everything, went down, and I want to have you guys listen to it because here on Fit the Description, we're trying to have, full disclosure on everything. So, I mean, we're going to let you listen to it. And then please, everybody, it's still Fit the Description. Jimmy D still here. Some of your favorite guests are still here, So like, comment, subscribe, share it with a friend, and keep support up.
So let's just calm down and, let's take a deep breath. Okay.
I am calm. I am super calm. I am good.
We understand.
Just because you don't have to fix this problem does not mean I'm not calm.
There is no problem, man. The problem is you. But let's digress off of that. Let's just look. We all see you here. Let's shout out everybody that sees him. It's amazing.
No. You don't get to tell people to shout out. I tell people shout out. Shout out to Opian. Shout out to Fit the Description. Don't shout out to James. It's me. I get to tell who can shout out.
Yes, you do. We're gonna let you do that. Can we just let him go? Okay, look, man, we're gonna give you another 10 minutes. Oh man, don't tell me. Look, I think you have a misunderstanding about this. You're the one that doesn't have access to this anymore. Like the second you log off, like you're done. Like you'll never get it. We've already changed all the we changed. Oh wait a minute, we changed the passwords, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah, man, we changed the passwords already, bro. Like, sorry, man.
You cannot take something that I built, that I own, that's on my phone, that's on my app. There's no way. No, this is still my talk.
I mean, look, man, I love the heartfelt emotion you have in this, but I mean, look, man, just give up, bro. Like, look, we get a hostage negotiator in here or something, bro. I think he's on the ledge or something. That's kind of it.
No. I send you emails. I tell you what's in those emails, and I tell you what's going on. You got the email, and you know what's up. So no.
There kind of is, because we now have access to that too. Look, I'm just, man. You are a nice guy. Like, I get it, bro. Like, there's a podcast out there for you. Okay, there is. You just gotta get back out there, man, and don't be afraid to really go out and see what's out there. Explore the world. Maybe, why don't you just guest speak on a couple of podcasts? Why don't you just podcast around for a little bit? Keep your options open. So let me get this straight before we go any further. You're saying no to the president of custodial operations.
I am going to figure out how to kick you off this guest, and so I am back in power.
Yeah, but I didn't even want to be in power. They just gave it to me, and you're still trying to kick me off. That's hilarious. I want to look. Just be happy. You are actually a pioneer. You should be given a round of applause. Did you know that? This will be the new way to terminate people. Like, we'll bring them on these little apps and then talk to them for a little bit and then explain to them that, yeah, they're kind of done here.
I am not done. You're done. And once I figure out how to shut this off, you will be done.
Hey man, you see how calm I am and how frazzled you are. That just shows, like, look, man,
You're
you're
on
on my
my
ass.
podcast. You're on mine. This is mine.
Oh,
Mine.
oh, it's so nice that you really. I mean, I'm glad that you're taking such an interest in my, little setup here. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're right. There can only be one, and that one isn't you.
Yeah, for everybody out there, like I said, the podcast going forward may sound a little bit different, okay, but it still has the same essence of Fit the Description in it, okay. So we want you guys to really like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you guys think.
Welcome to Fit the Description, a Black woman's podcast where various Black women come together to talk about life, society, entertainment, culture, news, and wherever else we want to talk about from various women's perspectives. I am your host, Summer, and today we'll meet the rest of the cast.
Hi, I'm Daphne.
Hi, I'm TJ.
Hi, I'm Lola Ru.
And with that said, what are we going to talk about today, ladies?
Whatever the hell we want to talk about.
We were having a conversation earlier today about Daphne. What was that?
First thing, are Black men's voices the sound of financial commercials? The financial soundtrack, rather, of commercial today? Because we have the guy from Allstate. Who else does one?
Samuel Jackson does a credit card one.
Yeah. And
Jake from State Farm.
Yeah.
Who's the guy who does the insurance? Allstate, the insurance, Jake from State Farm. But I wanted to know, what other ethnicity people are narrating commercials nowadays?
Good question. I'm not sure because every time it comes up, I always see, one of our kind.
Okay, now that I've gotten a chance to warm up my voice. So what we really want to talk about, y'all, so unmic. I was having a conversation with my friend. Her son's father's mom is Mexican and his dad is Black. And she says that she agrees he cannot be a Black man because he was raised by a Mexican woman. How do you guys feel about that?
He is a Black man. He just might not be tapped into that part of his ethnicity because she can't teach him that or can't relate to her on that. But he is still biologically, he is both.
Right. He might not be raised up culturally as a Black man, but the DNA speaks for itself. He'll never be anything other. I think in society's eyes, he won't be anything other.
So if he's not culturally a Black man, what makes him Black?
DNA.
Probably his skin tone.
But if the mitochondrial DNA is passed down through the mom, wouldn't that make him genetically Mexican?
Not according to what is that? 23andMe.
But see, when they do those genetic tests, they say that there is so much genetic information that we do not utilize to do that testing that it doesn't account for everything that you could possibly link yourself up to get a real version of who you are.
Listen, is his dad Black?
He doesn't classify his dad as Black.
The egg came from a Black man?
He says his dad is Creole, so he doesn't even consider him a Black man. That's what he says.
I'm partially Creole and partially French, and I still consider myself Black.
Exactly, because Creole is a combination of African.
Right.
So he says that makes him not black. He doesn't even consider himself a black man.
He's unaware because he hasn't been taught. He does
Right.
not know. So someone has to now open his mind to his cultural ancestry and let him know where his lineage comes from. Because there's Creole in my blood too. There's also Filipino in my blood. And that's because my great-grandfather is Filipino. But I didn't know that until I got a little bit older, and I didn't even realize how deep it was until I got older. But I'm not tapped into any of my Filipino roots, although the Filipino community accepts me because they know that.
Right.
But I thought your mitochondrial DNA is 100% from your mom, and so that, because that's exclusively inherited from your mom, then that makes you what you are.
So you're going strictly by just melanin.
Going by science.
I mean, at the end of the day, it should go by, or technically would go by both sides. There is a combination of both. Sometimes one does outweigh the other. It goes back and forth, which is why a lot of times when you're looking at people, they'll look more like one side of the family than the other. And it doesn't matter if it's a guy or a girl.
Right.
Or they or she, whatever your pronoun wants to be. But I'm just saying, your X chromosomes and your Y chromosomes, sometimes one outweighs the other, and it can go either way. So there's no way to really put that down like to an exact science, which is why it combines all of it.
I would say that that's right, because I have a niece that biologically, if the mitochondrial DNA is speaking for the body, my sister's half white. My niece's dad is black. She is totally light skinned, like her mother, but her features, the way her body is shaped, she looks an exact match to her father. She's just light skinned. And her dad is Eddie Murphy dark.
And I'm the exact same way. My dad's genes are way more prevalent than my mom's.
Right.
And all the Filipino side is from my dad's side. And then even my makeup as my body, my figure, is more on my dad's side. If you look at all the women on my dad's side of the family, we're all pretty much shaped the same.
Right.
My eyes and everything.
So I don't know about the mitochondrial part of it. I think it goes both ways, because you have to have both. You have to have the egg and the sperm to make a baby. So the dad has to have some say in the makeup of the child. That's just the way it is scientifically.
But if you have two siblings and you have different maternal DNA, they consider those broken linkage. When they start looking at sequencing and mitochondrial DNA, they look at the maternal line. And so if you have two siblings that have different moms, that maternal line is broken. They have different mitochondrial DNA.
Right.
They're just saying that you are what the mom is, because if the mom is raising you and you have that genetic line, you're raised in that line. So I think when you talk about, like who's black or who's not black, or who's considered black and who's not considered black, you have to look at who the mom is. You have to look at how the genes are passed down. I think when you start talking culturally, that's another segment, because you could say you have like a Mexican person raised in a black household. They're culturally black. There's a difference.
Right.
There is a difference. They are culturally black, but they are not black.
Well, then we get into what's the new term? Transracial.
Right. Right.
If
We're
I
not
get
even gonna
another
start
term,
talking about Rachel
I can't even
Dolezal.
keep up.
I have a question. My question is why are we forcing people to be black if they don't want to be black?
Right. But I think that this question is more of what's being forced upon this child. I think that it sounds like this child is not given a choice because the mother is saying, this is what you are, instead of completely giving him the information that he needs to decide what he chooses to identify.
Well, if the father is not present in his life, then that will then fall on the mother to say, this is what I am, this is what you are.
Correct.
The father chose
what happens later if this child finds out otherwise, something about his dad's side of the family, and gets curious about it. How do you not give them a choice? And I'm speaking this from experience. I didn't have my father around, but I was privy to what happened on that side of the family because I was given a choice.
She should tell her son who the father is, but that's not her responsibility to give him all of that information as far as teach him how to culturally be or try and force a relationship between the two so that he can learn that. That's not her responsibility.
No. That's definitely not her job. You're right on that end, but it is her job to let him know who he is and what his background is, not what he decides to do with that information once he's old enough and wants to, explore. Should be a choice, but don't keep it from him. That's not fair, because what if he finds out later? That can make him resent.
Right, but then it was said that the boy said he is Creole. He's not Black. So he did make a choice.
He made a choice.
He's Mexican and Creole.
Right, he made a choice based on the information that was given.
No, this person made a choice growing up with both parents, and his offspring, and his offspring, he is deciding like, okay, well, I'm not that. I don't identify with that.
Right.
Okay, well then he made a choice.
And the mom is saying, well, that's what I am, so our child is definitely that.
Okay, so then that's all she's acknowledging that this is definitely what he is. He's saying he knows this other part of it. Unfortunately, he doesn't realize that the Creole part of him does include Black. So that's just misinformation. That's the sad part. But as long as he's given the information that he needs about his background or whatever aspect or as much as possible from one parent, both, or whatever the case may be, then he can decide from there. You choose. Now, if society wants to try to tell him, no, but you're Black, I mean, that's something that he has to learn how to deal with, how he wants to address.
And then that was where I came in and I said, why force people to be what they don't want to be? So he's made a choice. He's not Black. He's Creole and whatever else. So then who's the Black community or society to tell him, no, you are Black. So you're one of us. Now you have to be one of us.
The sad part about it is that if he even looks Black enough, he gonna learn the hard way one way or another.
Yep. Eventually society's gonna give him a Black moment.
He gonna have more than one.
Mm-hmm.
So better to find out everything and know what you're dealing with than to go ahead and not. But I mean, that is his choice. And if that's his choice, it is what it is. You can't force just one lady who swore up and down she was Black and she was white. Like, she wanted to be Black so bad. Okay, well, you about to learn the hard way.
Right. But is that the same thing to that would you say that's the same thing as society telling Black individuals that you are inferior, you are all of these negative things? And you're saying, no, I'm not. I am more than that. I am X, Y, and Z. I am resilient. I am whatever the case may be. Whatever you come up with that you are as an individual, even though you're Black, society tells you that you are not those things, that you are the opposite of those things. Do you cave into society and just say, okay, because you guys gave me that moment of making me realize that I'm inferior because I'm Black?
No, I hear what you're saying. No, I mean, that depends on the person. And honestly, us as Black people, I mean, we know what we are, right? Those of us that identify as Black, we know what we are, but, we do choose to, when we can, or, those of us that want to choose to do exactly what you said. And we are more than just that. But, the thing is that in reality, somewhere down the line, something shows you that this is how people view you. Now, you have to take a turn from that and decide what to do with that. And that's what he'll have to do. And if he wants to sit here and deny, I'm not Black, but not understanding that Creole is also African in ancestry. I mean, I don't know what to tell him, except that he's going to learn the hard way from being misinformed instead of just trying to figure out what he needs to do to understand his heritage and, you know, where he comes from, and then go from there. But, you know, the unfortunate part is society is going to show him that he's Black.
And that's I guess where my problem is, that I don't think that's not okay. That's not okay for someone to tell him, or for just the community as a whole, the Black community, because the Black community is very large in forcing people. They're very heavy in forcing people to accept, you are Black. Oh, what are you? Oh, you're Black and white, you're Black. Oh, you're Asian and Black, you're Black. Oh, you're this and Black, you're Black. And it's like, dismiss your other part, dismiss your
the full span of your heritage.
And
I don't think it's a dismiss. I think it's accept both parts. I don't think it's always a dismiss. I think it's the fact that it always gets pushed down by other things when people are labeled as biracial, from what I've seen. And so what happens is they're not aware. I have a friend who's Dominican from New York. Parents are straight Dominican. Do you know she did not know until me and a couple other people told her, and not even by force, like, baby, you Black. But in America, you're going to be viewed as Black, but you speak Spanish, but you also have Spanish and you have African roots. Your people got dropped off on one side before our people got dropped off on this side. And
that's the crazy thing. Wasn't the DR having a big thing, because they were saying, if you have African ancestry, we don't want you here. If you came to DR before 49, 42, we don't want you here.
And half of them are darker than we are.
Right. But they were saying, no, you are not true Dominican Republican. Go back to Haiti. Go back to wherever you guys came from. I believe that was going on. Wasn't that going on?
Is Afro-Latino, and there are some that are very well aware of it, and they acknowledge both parts. They don't, and you know, we didn't tell her, and I don't know anybody that does this, don't acknowledge the other part of it. We're saying don't deny both parts.
But that's the thing. It's like you're setting people up for a fallacy. To say that the Dominican Republican girl with two Dominican Republic parents from DR is Black is a lie.
No, her mama is from the DR. Her dad is Black.
Oh, he's from America.
He's American.
So the thing is that at the end of the day, though, she just had no idea, because she did not identify with being a Black American, but she didn't understand why she was either being treated a certain way or why certain things were brought out. I said, well, then because they view you as Black, because 1, you're darker than me. 2, your hair is exactly like mine. And 3, your heritage is part African, babe.
So she will be Afro-Latino or Afro.
That's exactly what I said earlier.
Right,
yeah,
right.
So
she's genetically African.
Or Afro-Latino.
She's genetically aware. So she's genetically African.
There you go.
Or she's genetically American.
Well, she's genetically African American and Spanish, because I mean, she was raised out here. She was born and raised in America.
But her mom is Dominican Republic. She's from the DR. So, but I'm saying, as far as culturally, I'm assuming that her mom still is very connected to her culture.
To both, yeah. Because mom is out here in America too.
Okay.
It's on the East Coast. So depending on where who you talk to, like I have Dominican friends right off the bat, they'll tell you, they're like, yeah, I'm a Black man, but I'm also Dominican, so I'm also Spanish. You know?
So do you think you can be a Black man if you're not born and raised in America?
If you're
that's a good question.
Raised in America and you're coming to America?
If you were not born American citizen, can you be Black?
See, I always took the stance as no.
Yeah, I was about to say, I would say no, because I think that's an American label.
It is an American label.
That's an American label. Why. Yeah, and I think Jesse Jackson coined the term African American, and then from there we ended up being Black. So I think that's a strictly American term. If you go to any other country, they don't call themselves Black.
They're based off of nationality.
Yes.
Right. Right. And a lot of people have they're mixed up with the terms Black, African American. They mix up where they're from versus their nationality versus their race versus their culture. They get that all mixed up.
Because the majority of Americans only have that issue of geography. Right. So you ask me, you don't have to put anything extra on me. I'm American.
Right. 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 And if you want to take it one step further, I'm Indigenous American.
Yes.
Yes.
It seemed like we're all on different pages and we end up on the same page.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a matter of the perception.
I have a question. What do you mean Indigenous American? As in,
like
as
Native
in
Native American?
As in you were not a part of, or your ancestry was not a part of the chattel slavery?
Yes.
Transatlantic slave trade.
Yes, because my people did not land here by way of Haiti or Jamaica or one of the islands from Africa.
And I'm just going to be honest. I can't tell you where my people are from, but America.
Yeah.
So for people who can say, oh, no, you came from Africa, I can't tell you that's true, and neither can you.
Right. For sure.
Right.
So
I
don't blindly claim people because of my, what you consider my phenotype.
Right.
Right.
When there's so many different types of phenotypes that mimic a particular look.
Yeah.
Right.
I saw something the other day where the man was trying to say that Africa was originally a European American phenotype looking place, and that the real invaders were the Black Africans.
Well, that's interesting. I never heard that before.
Oh, I wish I would have known. I would have sent it to everybody. Even the man who was interviewing him looked like, okay. He was trying to go with him like, okay, well, I'm going to be respectful in this conversation. I had
the beginning attempts to rewrite history. So maybe within the next 30, 40 years, you'll have a few more people coming out claiming the same thing.
I think that's the reason why people have been diving more into their heritage, and like is not as 100% accurate as like these tests will be. That's why people are curious about their genes and their lineage and how far back it goes in their DNA with these tests and whatnot, because it gives them a broader perspective and on the world and themselves, and to kind of see where their background may lie. And, kind of opens their minds into exploring that there's more than just having to have one label as well. But then also knowing that you have the option to choose with what you identify with that makes sense, for you culturally.
I don't even want to say I struggle with it. I'm curious. If you are a good person, you live a good life, and you enjoy the family or your family of creation, right? Where you come from has such a heavy pull on people. Why?
Okay, so here's the thing, and a lot of people don't realize. And I mean, it just depends on how you take this, but let's be honest. Where you come from says a lot about you and where you're going or want to go. It also tells you a lot about yourself. It also tells you a lot about the people that raised you. It helps you understand yourself a lot more. So I am one of those people as an educator who had to dive into who they were and who the people before her was and all that to understand why I was raised a certain way or why I was taught something a certain way, and then unlearn certain things that don't work for me and then teaching it to others. So that's helped me able to understand myself, but it also helps me appreciate my past and appreciate my elders before me and what they went through and what I know about them to know where I am right now. So that is why I choose to do that, and why I have the identifications I choose to stick with by, with whatever quote unquote labels I use or what I identify.
And as an educator, if you immersed yourself in someone else's culture and you found it beautiful and inspiring, what would be the difference?
There is a big difference because I'm not going to be a tourist in somebody else's culture. I immerse myself in cultures all the time. Now, here's one thing that I do. I'm a diversity champion at my place of work, right? That means that I have to learn about other cultures. I have to embrace other cultures. I encourage everyone to share their cultures, no matter what it is, what their background is, as long as it's, not religious, of course, we can't do that there, but sharing that so we can learn more about each other as people and be able to communicate and be open-minded. And so with that being said, I celebrate all kinds of cultures. Now, you know me personally, Summer. So, I love the Asian culture, and I didn't even realize why until I dived into the fact that I had a Filipino background the way I did. Mm-hmm. And it made sense, right? I didn't know that. And then, so with that, I do things like celebrate Lunar New Year. I love eating and cooking Asian food. I've been to, Chinese New Year parades. I teach these things in my classroom, and I have a lot of Asian children in my classroom. And their parents are super open and come in and share things with me. And, I have Filipino friends and all that, as well as Persian. I've learned about Persian New Year, and I teach those things. So I teach all these things to my class and share it with the center. And we embrace these things and learn more about each other because it helps us understand how big the world is and how some people are way more multifaceted and way more multicultural than realize. And it helps people accept each other and start to look beyond what they see physically.
Right. So before you found out you had Filipino in your heritage, did you feel like a tourist in Asian culture?
I still feel like a tourist in Asian culture because I'm not 100% Asian. I'm a quarter, and I didn't get raised with any of it. My great grandfather didn't teach my grandmother jack. So she couldn't speak one lick of Tagalog. She did not cook or eat Filipino foods, none of that, because her mama was Creole.
Mm.
So that got completely thrown out the window. He came from Manila, found him a Creole woman, and was like, Philippines where? And
right.
I knew nothing until I got older, and I didn't get to start to appreciate and understand any of this until I got immersed into it with people of that culture. And I still, even though I know things about that, and I know things about, let's say, Diwali, and I know things about Nowruz, and things that I've learned a lot about those over the last 10 years, to where I celebrate them, and I know the backgrounds and the meaning of half sin tables and all that. And also even the stories behind Lunar New Year. But I am still a tourist. I was not raised in that. I just learned about it and I embraced it, and I'm able to celebrate it and acknowledge it.
Okay. I think we wrapped this topic up, ladies.
Mm-hmm.
What else y'all want to talk about?
Can somebody explain, because I'm so out of the loop nowadays with everything that's happening, what happened with, and we don't have to go too far into it, and I'm hoping it doesn't tap on any of the things in the list, but what happened, what Trey Songz is about to get canceled, because what did he do?
That's not tapping on the list. And what hasn't Trey Songz done? Recently, I don't know. I just found out within the last couple months that he was out there doing the most, most I can't say musicians aren't actually musicians.
I just heard that he was accused of SA again.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Right.
But it's a $25 million lawsuit, I think.
Is that the same girl that accused him a couple months back? Or is this a new one?
I just
February.
Okay.
Just recently.
Right.
I just heard when I randomly, on the radio station, it said again.
Yes. And he's being sued over it, apparently.
Yeah, but this is from like 2016 at like a house party or something.
$5 million.
Yeah, and he's saying it's consensual and she's saying it's not.
Oh, this is from 2016. Okay, yeah, so this is the one from 2016. She's suing him now.
Yeah. So, I mean.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, by a woman in Georgia.
Yeah.
Well, let's bring that up then. I got a question. And when it comes to a lot of these musicians and SAS as women, do we completely cancel them and their music? That's a good question. I would like to know.
That's a real good question.
I was at a wedding at the top of February, and they did go through the list of, American musician group dancing songs. You know where I'm going with this.
I know where you're going with it.
We did cha-cha slide, we did the electric slide, we did the Cupid shuffle, and then they was you heard the little piccolos and the flutes pop in.
Yep.
Did you start stepping in the name of love?
Stepping in the name of love.
I went and sat down because you could tell it was like people were like freeze, and I was like, everybody's like, do we step side to side? What are we gonna do here? And so I went and sat down so I could be the true observer I am to see who's gonna stay on the floor, who's gonna dance to, what's gonna happen.
Yo, I'm the same way.
I could tell you a lot of people that were younger sat down. And I say age group of 40 and up kept on dancing. So what do you think about the age group? Like a lot of the 20 and 30-year-olds like, oh, no, I can't. I couldn't possibly. And they sat down, and a lot of the older people were like, whatever. I separate the music from the person.
That was what I wanted to bring up because I'm a DJ, right? You know this.
Okay.
I won't play that music, but then there's every once in a while there's a song with that person where he's on there and I just won't play his part, or if he's just in the background then I won't take it out. But there's people that'll ask for it sometimes and I can't really tell them no, I don't play it if they're paying me. So
right. If they're paying you, do you play it?
Right. They're paying me. Do I go on my morals and be like, oh, I don't play that? I mean, I can lie if I don't have it.
Right.
Crazy.
Okay. Let's switch the genre. Keep it in the line of violence. Let's switch the genre and keep it in the line of some kind of abuse. Madonna had a thing back before we were, into being, where her and her boyfriend, husband, got into a fight allegedly in a hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And she got put out naked.
And she allegedly got put out naked, and they were both rising stars at that time.
Right.
And
Sean Penn?
Yes.
Okay.
And he didn't so much as so get canceled, but it's almost like he quietly went away and then came back behind the scenes.
He got blacklisted.
But he had. Did he get blacklisted? Because I think he just had good PR people. Because he disappeared.
They avoided.
He disappeared and he came back.
Yeah, they avoided him for a while.
So we don't know if he was going on casting calls and just not getting jobs because he hasn't talked about it. But he did go away in what I call do some reputation repair. Now he's seen as, this gritty director, this, do what?
He reinvented himself.
Yes. Right. And what is the line that we accept that? Because look, Woody Allen married. Yeah. And at this point, I won't even call her his stepdaughter because Mia Farrow was doing what she wanted to do. Apparently, she was adopting who she wanted to adopt. Apparently, so he married a child that was in the home after they became a legal adult.
I was going to say, and that's the reason why the 40-year-old crowd stayed on the floor to dance, because they've lived long enough to see the hypocrisy in who they pick and choose to cancel, who they pick and choose to be outraged about. We've lived long enough to see the cycle of people who are abusers reinvent themselves and become accepted all over again, reinvent themselves
like Gibson
and be so
what's the one really popular director that just went to another country and people still want to, Roman Polanski, and he's the great, I want to work with him. And even to this day, the woman who was a child at the time was like, oh, it was a different time back then. I was 13, but I didn't feel 13. It's something crazy that happened recently, like in the last 10 years, where she was like, oh, leave him alone. You know, it was a very whimsical summer or something crazy. I'm like, are you still a minor? Okay.
No, she just got groomed early and she accepted it and moved on.
That is the problem.
Yep, because a lot of them, they got groomed and they're like, okay, I don't see anything wrong with it. That's what they were used to. Like Shirley Temple Black, for instance, she ended up getting used to it. And who was the other one? The to the Vaz chick's daughter, Liza Minnelli.
Oh, Judy Garland's daughter.
Judy Garland. I think, was it Judy Garland that went through that? Or I might be thinking of Shirley Temple Black.
We know,
she got used to it and it wasn't a big deal.
We know Elvis's wife, Priscilla, she talked about being kept in the dark and being kept in the cold, and he didn't want to share her with the world, and she grew up under his like basic grooming and dressing of her, but he's still the king of rock and roll, Graceland.
Right.
So I mean, like Lola was saying, it's who are we picking and choosing, and then are we as Black women more moral than any other person because we're like, oh no, this is wrong, we shouldn't listen to this music anymore? Or are we like, well, I'm going to separate the hits from the weirdo and call it a day? What are we doing here?
Or society gets forgetful after a while too.
They didn't get forgetful of Chris Brown. I mean, not that he's anything. Not that he's doing.
Well, I think that's a younger generation that's canceling Chris Brown.
Mm.
Oh well, yeah, like the people who walked off the dance floor. I mean, not to say that I support the shenanigans of the brown man. But was he taking pictures with baby mamas for Mother's Day and charging them like a grand? I mean, that was a good hustle.
No, he charged. He had this fan club thing. He was charging $1,000 for people to come spend the day with him, go backstage, eat lunch, take pictures, blah blah blah. So he took pictures with a lot of people and whatever pose they wanted to. Right.
I thought it was a Mother's Day, charge $1,000, take pictures and spend a day with Chris Brown. It looked crazy to me, the pictures. It looked like 1992 at the Sloss and Swap meet. You might as well drop a Mercedes-Benz backdrop and put your hand on it and then the other hand on your butt and then look over your shoulder like, hey, y'all.
Oh, my God.
Is that the incident where he threw a fan's phone? Are you talking about that?
Did that happen?
It was something entirely different.
Just recently, yeah.
Yeah, he slapped somebody's phone out of their hand or something like that.
No, he took it. I saw the video. He took it and he tossed it into the crowd. She's up there on stage. You know how performers will bring somebody on stage and dance for them and sing or whatever. And Yeah, so he was doing that, singing the song, and she was all on her phone. I don't know if she's texting her friends or like, oh my God, or recording the audience or herself. He just pulled her phone out of her hand gently and he tossed it into the crowd.
So here's my question. Has the fan experience become so insulting for celebrities? They're like, hey, I'm giving you my best action here. Are you really on your phone? Are people that much into technology of the phone that they can't even stop and be sang to by somebody they paid an exorbitant amount of money to be in the front row to see?
Apparently, she didn't give two craps about it.
Right.
Unbothered. If you watch the video, she looked completely unbothered. And it was him and like a couple of dancers. And you know, I ain't the biggest CB fan anyway, but I do not knock his performance and his talent, right? And
of this conversation,
I would have been like, damn, like I would have been looking at my phone.
Right.
But I would have been like, okay then.
Was she looking at her phone, or was she trying to record herself and him in her phone?
Towards him. She had it was either looking at her like she was recording herself, or she was texting. I couldn't really tell, but it definitely wasn't focused like on him or the guys or like what was happening around her. It was right in front of her, like facing the audience. So she could have been in like recording herself, or she could have been texting her folks. But then her facial expression was just like
yawn,
completely RBF.
Wow.
That's funny.
Wow.
That is funny.
So funny.
So I feel like,
well, wasn't that his preference?
Now I have to go look the video up.
I'm about to try to find it right now because I'm like, I can share my screen if you need me to.
Oh yeah, you gonna share your?
Oh yes.
Oh, we want to see
I can find it. It was on Instagram. I'm gonna see if I still have it.
While you're looking at that, I'm like, how did anybody feel? Without going into it too deep, because she's looking for the video. How did people feel about the recent videos of Nelly at like one of those like Summer Jam kid concerts or concerts where people bring their kids and him pulling little girls up on stage? Was that a little weird, or was it just like, oh, okay?
That's probably just par for the course for him, because for him to be that comfortable to do it, that ain't his first time doing it.
Nelly, he pulled girls, on stage to sing to them out of the crowd. And so I would say, looking like 10, 11.
Okay, I mean, we've seen that done before, though. What was he singing?
What's the one hit he did with the country singer?
Country Grammar?
Country Grammar?
The country singer, y'all!
In my head, I think about it over and over again. Yeah.
Okay. So
I found the video, by the way.
Okay, so TJ, you're saying, hey, this happens, adult men pull children up on stage.
It depends on the song.
He was twirling their hair.
Oh no.
Okay.
Well, first of all, nobody that's 10-year-old should be listening to no Nelly songs.
Well, unfortunately,
they're written for children. I'm going down, baby, your street in the.
Talking about a street sweeper to a 10-year-old.
Well, people are letting their kids sing. They're going on the Old Town Road.
Yeah, the radio version didn't say that.
I say Nelly was reinventing himself. He's already he's done in our community. Nobody's checking for him, especially after he did,
Yeah, because he has an essay. He has an essay charge too.
Oh my goodness!
He needs a new fan base.
His got swept up under the rug because everybody else's was happening at the same time as his. Now, don't quote me on the month of the year, but it was recent.
It was a couple years back, like probably like 2019, 2020. Yes,
when I remember all that Me Too stuff. That's when his came out.
Okay.
And it was after Bill Cosby had gone on trial for the.
Okay, we don't talk about no BC on here. We don't want to get shut down. You say,
right.
Everybody's like, oh no, we're not choosing. We're not.
I just said that to reference the timeline.
Yeah, I think you're all right.
Okay, are we gonna watch this Chris Brown?
Oh, please, yes.
All right.
Feminist preference.
You see her? You see him?
Right.
All right. So we're gonna go over.
Oh.
Look at it.
Oh, he shot that to the heavens.
He said, "Oh, you gonna talk? This is what you're doing?" Like,
oh yeah, she definitely was looking at herself.
Yeah. Man, that phone joined the aliens.
That man the man in those purple parachute pants is waving and dancing.
Right, and she's not paying attention to none of them.
The man in the purple pants was giving his best Magic Mike's best Las Vegas body roll. I feel like Chris did it in defense of his dancers. He was like, "How dare you disrespect my dancers like this?"
Right,
She was taking a selfie.
Yeah.
All right, I'll stop it. Yeah.
Okay.
But once again, that's his preference. I'm just saying.
Right.
Oh, see, I think he was a little upset that she was enjoying herself more than she was enjoying him.
Yeah. Yeah, she was like, "Oh, I got on stage. Hello."
Right. My goal was to get on stage, and I did.
Look, she was trying to increase her followers. Okay,
that's what I was thinking. Yep.
So
exactly what she was doing.
So I have a question.
Went viral after that.
Lola sent me something from the angry man, and it said,
"Oh no, not him."
That it was somebody's Instagram post, and it said, "You've never met a fine black woman who had all of these."
All three. Yeah.
And it was like, high iron.
Oh God.
Not cold feet. Not cold feet. What was the other ones, Lola?
I don't remember.
Hold on, I'm gonna look for it.
You almost got me going with the angry man. Just say his name. Ugh, that's up there with Kevin S.
What's wrong with my thing was he used to be helpful for delusional men who thought they should have lots of women. And then when the black man's assault took it off, then he decided that he was going, okay, it says, "I never met a fine black woman with all five. High iron, matching ankle socks, and new ones don't count. 20/20 vision, warm feet, and a little forehead."
Oh my God, what kind of shenanigans is that? First of all, how dare you talk about high iron? Most women in general don't have high iron, and unfortunately, us as black women, we are iron deficient by nature. That's just what it is. That's nothing you can't do anything about that. And why is that an issue for you? That's just stupid. And so I have matching ankle socks have to do with anything. Sometimes we do that mess on purpose.
So I have a question.
Take all of mine.
So I have a question. How many of y'all have on socks right now?
I don't have on socks. They're on flip
flops. Okay. Whoever has on socks, do they match?
Yes.
If they put socks on, they're gonna match.
But it is from a brand new pack of ankle socks because my kids take all mine.
I love it.
No. Okay. I'm not going to ask y'all if y'all have high iron or 20/20 vision because we all know I sure don't have.
Iron. I don't have to take.
I don't.
20/20 vision.
And no, I don't have that club. 20/20.
At all.
Thank God somebody does.
Well, okay, let me stop lying. I almost have 23. I don't have to wear glasses. I only need them when I'm driving at night or if I'm at a computer for a long time.
Right.
Okay, I have a topic. You guys know I get sucked into the Reddit, Am I the Asshole? So I was down in Am I the Asshole town, and I read this one, and I'm just gonna give you the quick version. It was a husband and wife. They adopted a child from very young. At that point, child grew up under their care, went off into the world with a college education provided by them. At this next stage, boy meets girl. Girl says, hey, you should meet your bio parents. Girl finds bio parents and connects the family. So the boy goes off with his bio parents and learns about his bio parents and gets to hang out with his bio parents and meets his other siblings and meets his other family. And at that point in time, he stops dealing with his adopted family.
Completely?
He gets married and invites his adopted parents. He sends them an invite. They are not participants in the ceremony, but his bio parents are.
Oh, wow.
They don't get to sit at the family table. They sit somewhere in the crowd, but the bio parents do. They have a baby, and the baby is 3 years old and still hasn't met the adopted parents. The father says, it's been 9 years since I feel like I had a close relationship with my adopted son. He calls my wife on her cell phone and says, hey, Mom, me and Whoop-de-Whoop are having a little financial trouble, and I want to know if I can move back home till we get on our feet.
Wait, these are the adopted parents.
Yes.
Oh, but tell them where the adopted mom was living at the time.
So my question is, do you let your adopted child you haven't had a close relationship with, had a whole 3-year-old you never met, move back into your house with his wife and child because he's having financial problems?
No.
Lola.
Hell to the no. Ask your bio. They so happy to have you.
All right, come on with it.
Lola, you letting them move in? Or she take a break from us? She's muted. I think
I'm still here.
There she goes.
Can the adopted son come back?
Did we lose you?
She muted back.
Okay.
Busy. I say I'm not doing it. I say, So adopted dude was like, yeah, can I come back? And the dad said no. So the mom is like, why can't he come home? It's our child. And he was like, I've seen you way too hurt behind what's going on. No.
Right.
So the wife calls the adopted father that she does not have a close relationship with and never established a relationship with and cusses him out. Tells him he's a terrible person.
She got a lot of nerve. Good Lord.
The bio family don't live in that same state. They don't live close. But the adopted father does live close to the adopted son, which is why it's more egregious that it's been 9 years with limited communication and he hasn't met this grandchild, but now they want to move in. Adopted dad is like, no. I feel like when they come back here, all they're going to do is get on their feet and then vanish again, hurting my wife.
Yeah. And
where's I wanted to know where the new wife, where's her people?
I don't know. He didn't even comment.
Good question.
I wish they would have answered that. I'm like, where's her people? Why aren't they helping?
So the kicker for this was the adopted son did not even realize his parents got divorced.
Oh wow! So you didn't even know all
years.
the details that were happening.
He didn't know that the mom is suffering from a medical condition and didn't want the husband to have to take care of her, so they got separated, and she moved into a long-term care nursing facility.
Oh my gosh.
And he's calling her on her phone, begging for assistance. And she's calling, crying like, we have to help him.
Oh no.
Dad is like, nah.
But you don't have to help them. But you don't.
When do you stop helping? What's the cutoff line?
When he abandoned them 9 years ago?
That part though.
And some people are like, you don't know, they may have been terrible adopted parents. I said,
was gonna ask, did he mention anything about them being horrible parents? Like, did he not like them? But if that's the case, why are you running back to them?
Right. And I was like,
why did he even invite them to the wedding if they were terrible adoptive parents?
Right. My thing is, if you have a 3-year-old, you wouldn't move back in with terrible grandparents.
Exactly.
Right. I blame the wife.
How do you guys feel about people showing up to other people's parties?
Uninvited?
Yeah.
I can't stand it. It's so rude.
No.
Or like dropping in on somebody's family reunion just to get a plate of barbecue.
I hate the styrofoam people. You know, the people who bring their own styrofoam takeout containers?
That's disgusting.
And it don't matter if it's a baby shower, a birthday party, or whatever. They rolling through like, oh, hey y'all, hey, I haven't seen y'all all in 15 years. Good seeing you. Food. Yeah, so always got good food. And then you don't see them no more because they gone. I feel like those are
family leftovers.
Those are the people who need to bring $40 on some meat.
That part though, because we know people like this Summer who like
yes,
and they
we all know people like that.
Yes, they like to come and take not only a plate for themselves. Let me take a plate for this person that's not here, this person that's not here. You're not going to go and feed the whole family.
Yeah, that's what I said. They're taking leftovers to their family for dinner,
and you ain't even asked.
Yep, potlucks where people don't bring appropriate food for what they're trying to eat. If you're going to consume multiple proteins and dairy products, I need you to bring food. And whether you go to Costco and buy a sandwich platter, you need to bring a real food.
Listen,
right?
Don't bring a case of water that says street on it. I look like, what is street water?
Street.
Don't bring a case of 12 bottles of water that say hose. I'm like, what is hose water? Where did you get this from?
Right.
Packaged in Cerritos. Oh, I never heard of no hose water from Cerritos. Then you realize that's not even an S. Say hose water.
Well, at least they're not bringing you a jug of Carlos Rossi.
Girl, not the
Carlos. Oh, you might as well have not brought
Carlos Rossi.
That's at the bottom. That's at the bottom shelf in the grocery store, like Manischewitz. That's the bottom shelf that doesn't get dusted and nobody ever buys it. Mm-hmm. But they said bring something, so that big bottle that's gonna turn into a candle holder is coming to the picnic.
Ooh, it's the minimal effort. I'm done.
Right. They said bring something, so they brought something.
Yeah, I mean,
not something that somebody will consume, but they brought something. So they can take it back home.
We all know what Family General and the Family Dollar potato chips look like, 99-cent store. Don't bring me no packs of 99-cent store chips.
So you mean to tell me when you go to a party and you see boxes of cases of Shasta?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do they still make that?
Yes, they do.
They make it. They sell you a case at Sam's Club for $4.88.
Yep.
Oh,
because come on now, who on this call? You know, you may not drink anything else at a party that has Shasta, but you want that tiki punch. Come on, you want that tiki punch.
Oh, yeah, that tiki punch
is
the only thing that's worth it.
That's the only one worth drinking.
Yep, that's the only one worth drinking. Other than that, I won't touch it.
And you gotta drink it right away.
They did.
At the true 99-cent store.
They used to sell at the 99-cent only stores, and I used to grab me two for like $2 for 50 cents. What?
It is the blue can with the cheese on it for me.
Yep.
Is that tiki culturally insensitive?
Oh, you know what? Don't bring them into this. Don't do that. That is nostalgia. Do not ruin our childhood, okay?
Man, people are canceling everything. Everything is bad. Everything.
Do not make them a target.
Okay, we won't make them a target, but that tiki punch be hitting, you know.
Tiki punch be on point though.
It's like, whenever you want white wine with this or red wine, this I want a tiki punch. It hit with everything: fish, beef, beans, everything.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's multi-purpose, like that little black dress.
Now, come on now. You seen today's little black dress.
Yeah, little is the optimum word here.
Everything is shaming. How come everything is shaming? You can't make an observation. It's not shaming, it's an observation. Everything is a shame.
It's not shame, it's just what you see. Not saying it's bad.
You know what? Everything is shaming except for like mistresses and deadbeats and
right.
It's shaming those.
Right. And mistresses is the old term for side chick.
That part.
Yes.
So for me,
who don't know their place,
I had a conversation that a mistress used to have dignity about herself. A mistress wasn't down at the market telling everybody she was with Bob and B-Boy. She was down there at the market with her head dropped low, hustling, trying to pick up a bag of potatoes and get on home. Now these new chicks is like, look at me, I'm with B-Bo. Like, you are not his wife. You are his long-term girlfriend.
No shame in their game about it, okay?
Nobody knows you. Okay.
But nobody schools them about the fact is if you get the first position as the wife, somebody else there's a job opening. Your position is open now.
How you get them is how you gonna keep them, and you can have them.
Right.
That part right there.
Ask Neo's wife.
I think the reason why they're out and proud now is because they were tired of being shamed, and the man gets he has no consequences. There's nothing that he gets, but she gets everything.
Yes,
this is true.
That's so true.
Unknown position mistresses, you guys get a pass. You should have been smarter. You get a pass. I'm talking about, exactly what's going on. You can't get phone calls after 9:30. You can't take phone calls before 8:15 a.m. Like,
on the holidays, he gonna see you the next
day. Your Valentine's Day is February 15th.
So basically, what you're saying is, if the man is smart enough, strong enough, and firm enough to make sure that his mistress is not disrespecting his wife and his family that he built, he can have one. It's okay. Like, get her in check.
No, nobody said that. Nobody said that.
Nobody said that.
I'm saying, as far as shame, the the unknowing person, okay, but if a person has a mistress in check, right, you're gonna wonder what the wife didn't want about the husband that it was okay.
Right.
Because a lot of wives are like, as long as you stay going away from the house long enough for me to breathe, I'm okay.
That part. And don't come back to me bitching about nothing. And don't get mad if I end up with my side piece and an act of food.
Oh my gosh, because I'm definitely getting one if you got one.
If you got one, I'm getting one. And don't you dare act so cool about it.
Exactly. Don't get it, and don't get in your feelings when you find out about him either.
I think the reason
unfortunately they do.
The reason why it is the way that it is today is because mistresses have evolved. They no longer want to be just like the throwaway. Whatever your wife won't do, I'm doing. You're giving me minimal, but I'm giving you more. So now they require more. Now they're asking for more. They also want a house. They also want a car. Some of them want kids. They also want a family. Yeah.
Okay.
So, because they're doing the same things, if not more.
The guys too, though.
So their creep and sleep evolved into a I want to be first position.
Yeah. I think
with benefits.
I think it's greed, because I think it's like, hey, you're taking care of your family that you committed to, and I'm doing all this extra stuff for you. What do I get? So I think it's the evolution of entitlement. Like, hey,
they want the commitment.
Yes, I'm your mistress, and you need to be committed to my. Because remember, they used to have quiet mistresses as long as you kept them in the penthouse. Be quiet, shut up. The ones with money, or if it was a low end man, as long as he brought her a bag every now and again, she'd keep quiet. But now it's that entitlement, like, hey, I deserve as much as your wife. Well, if you didn't go into a polygamous marriage or a throuple, then no, you actually don't. So I don't know.
Right.
The promise.
Would you say it evolved because the mistress was at the shop, at the local market, buying her some food, and then she saw the wife and the children come in all happy?
Yes.
Yes, because they start seeing what they don't have. Yes.
And you know what else? Mistresses.
And social media.
Wait a minute, but check this out. Mistresses grew up with whole families who found out at a funeral that they had siblings and other family. So I think these kids evolved and may have found themselves in a side position and decided, I'm not going to go down like my mama did. I'm going to say something.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's facts. That is facts.
Yeah.
They're learning from their parents' mistakes.
Yep.
So they're changing the narrative.
Now, while we're on this, what y'all think about Wendy Williams' ex-husband crying on the internet for money?
Oh my God.
Boy, if you don't get your butt up and go get another producing gig.
Get a job. Get a job.
Why do he have to get another producing gig? He could go down to Albertsons, sign up for a management position.
I said get a job.
Albertsons is not going to pay him the wage that his new wife is accustomed to. Wait a minute. Let me see. Did they get married?
Oh, no. I think that was still his fiance.
His Instagram trick is...
Because if he got married, it was going to cut off his spousal support.
Yep.
Right.
Well, here's my take on that. If he is accustomed to a certain way of life because of her, what difference is that other than the same thing that when it's flipped, right?
And I don't agree with when it's flipped. There is first of all.
If you're with somebody and you've gotten them accustomed to a certain way of life that you provided for them, depending on whatever the issue is, though. Like if he cheated on her, messed up the marriage or the engagement, whatever it is, okay, that's on you.
He got a whole ass 3-year-old in the marriage.
So he messed up.
Right.
Hold on.
Right.
let's break out the stats.
Let me shut up and tell him go get a job, like I said the first time.
We're gonna break out the stats. He have a whole ass fiance with a rock on her finger that he nor her can afford. They both pushing cars that he nor her can afford. They are in a gated community that he was on the internet crying, talking about.
He can't pay his HOA.
I can't pay my HOA. I'm backed up on my payments. I live in a gated community. I'm backed up on my mortgage. I'm about to lose my house behind this mess with Wendy's lawyers.
Created the mess.
He said that Serena was on Wendy Williams' team. And Lola pointed something out. He was supporting Wendy. And Serena was supporting him. So in a sense, was she on his team? Was she on the Wendy Williams team? He said she put as much into Wendy Williams in the background as anybody else did.
By way of Kevin, or whatever his name is, being an emotional support for Wendy, Serena was emotional support for Kevin. She allowed him to lean on her.
Or in her.
Needed to.
Both.
Both. Leaned all the way up on that.
To pick him up and make him feel, whole and complete. Who did he have to talk to? Who did he have that was in his corner that was going to help build him up whenever he took on that position as therapist for Wendy, as bodyguard for Wendy, as business manager for Wendy? So he needed someone to go and unleash that onto.
A paid therapist.
Unleash it on his wife.
But how could he if she was so broken and going through all of her issues?
The same way he had time to creep out and help on Serena, he could have booked him a therapy appointment.
Yep.
He did. He had time.
You can do it.
And now he needs to lean on Serena's income and stay in their wage.
She was a massage therapist with a happy ending. So yeah,
that needs to go massage and happy ending them into a resident.
So he gave her like a business, I guess, that was not successful, and
a lot of them. There was a lot of businesses.
Well, because I think she's been around for like the last 10 years.
Who?
And she got canceled after Wendy.
Serena was around for way longer than that.
She's not but 37. I think he met her, she was 22.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so about 15 years. Yeah. So at this point,
that house while he bought that house and was going back and forth while he was still married to Wendy, right?
Yep. Yeah. And I believe she had a couple miscarriages in the situation. So yeah, they have a 3-year-old daughter, and he's on the internet talking about, what about my 3-year-old daughter? She need things. You and her mama, her parents, need to provide it.
For your child, you didn't have with her. The hell?
Yeah. Exactly. I'm looking like you, a whole 50-something-year-plus-year-old man crying on the internet about they did illegal tactics to get you off the show. And then when they said, well, this is not even Wendy's show anymore.
That part.
And Wendy is not making any money, so your spousal payments are on pause. So yeah.
You getting spousal payments to begin with. Like if I was a judge,
part.
Like, Negro, please.
You know, in California, it's whoever supports the marriage.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was saying it. That's what I was getting at before. I was like, that's the part that sucks about it.
I think he dropped the ball majorly because he didn't have a rainy day fund. He did a mustache.
And he don't
Fresno.
She had a rainy day fund. He just can't get to it.
Right. No, I know she does, but I'm saying he.
Oh yeah. No, he was too busy showboating for his mistress.
All of that time, all of that money that ran through his fingers, he shouldn't be wanting for anything right now.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you something really crazy that I thought about. I'm pretty sure he and Serena were waiting for Wendy to die of cocaine or drug abuse or graves or whatever, and that he was going to get that money and split it between him and their son.
Joke's on him, because Wendy was like, I'm through with you.
Yeah, I don't think he thought they were ever getting a divorce. I think he thought she was going to die of addiction or whatever, you know,
and
ailment.
put up with his crap for the rest of her life.
Right.
Yeah, I really think that's what the plan was. But that's just me. I'm morbid. I watched the ID channel.
Yeah, I thought she was gone when she started fainting on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna be an issue.
I was like, if I was Wendy Williams, I would have had my blood tested because they were sitting over there probably poisoning her like an old Alfred Hitchcock show. Like,
I wouldn't doubt it.
Allegedly. We never said that happened.
Allegedly. We haven't said that yet. Allegedly to all of it.
Allegedly all of it.
You guys, I think we started off with this. But we didn't really go too far into it, I guess. This is a question that I have. Bear with me because it's not really, I haven't really formed it completely yet. Racial identity.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I just saw that there's an article about an activist, a Muslim activist, who allegedly lied about being South Asian, Arab, and Latin. Right?
Okay.
Her mother says she's white as the driven snow.
What? Oh, that was like Miss Dolezal.
Oh,
that's the picture they have next to her. Like, so I'm wondering, is it the same thing if you are able to capitalize off of it versus just claiming to be something you're not, like that?
It's a difference if you're just using it to try to capitalize off of it. Just like that one chick back in the day who was pretending to be black, she was doing that to try to capitalize off of it.
Right.
You talking about Dolezal?
Yeah,
the transracialist.
And I okay, explain to me how she was trying to capitalize, because I'm not seeing it completely.
Okay, first of all, she joined the NAACP, which I understand that I believe it was invented by her folk.
Yeah, by a particular community. Yeah.
Our people basically are the face of it now. So Miss Dolezal, after she was discovered to not be of the diaspora, she had to do something to keep herself driven. So she went into braiding, still calling herself African American. What else was she doing at the time?
Now, could her situation be like a mental, some type of I don't want to say a mental illness, but pretty much a mental illness. Could you see her situation as that? Because she did completely take on the identity of a Black woman, learning how to do her. I mean, it's not easy doing hair, braiding hair,
True.
learning how to do all of that jazz. It's not easy learning how to do our hair, our hairstyles. She learned how to do her hair that way. She, just adopted the entire aesthetic of a Black woman, and she went and applied to apply to gain a position in an area that would benefit the Black community, wouldn't it? NAACP. So she was, in her own way, trying to help, and felt like she needed to look the way also in order to be believed and received.
I got that. But with that being said,
appropriation is not all.
I'm exhausted.
That she had to go and basically blackface her hair, so to speak, in order to fit in.
Yeah, it's like.
So I want to say that she is not necessarily mentally ill, but she was trying to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't consider it a mental illness because I feel like you knew what you were doing.
She was very well aware.
You were very you
appropriation. You took it a bit too far.
Right.
You had control over
our appreciation, though.
Okay, so it's appreciation when you acknowledge where it came from. It's not appreciation when you pass yourself off as someone that's mixed.
Like I said, with the hair blackface.
Because I think the community is very open and sometimes to the detriment of the community. So if she had been a genuine white woman who loved her Black community and supported her Black community, it's almost insulting, almost like, oh, I had to blackface myself in order for you guys to hear me. Like, we're not smart enough to get somebody who's really on our side. We're too stupid. So she got to make herself look like us.
Right. When she didn't have to do any of that because we know an advocate when we see one.
Yes.
I feel like
she have been an advocate, but at the same time still admired the aesthetic of Black women.
And if she was a person who admired the aesthetic of a Black woman and presented herself as an authentic white woman, no one would have blinked twice at her. Right. Was her friend that supported her as a person, that respected her supporting the community. And I just want to put it out there, everybody who has a big sister from the 90s or a neighbor or friend, wasn't there always the early 1990s, late 1989, wasn't there always a white woman who was cool with the black girl and they both had hairstyles a la Baps?
Right.
I done seen many a white blonde woman with a waterfall and a swoop, okay?
Right. So then what would be the difference between Black women doing the same?
Doing what same?
Aesthetically changing their appearance to look like a white woman.
Like Michael Jackson?
You know what? You won't touch Michael Jackson. I'm not never do with this, okay?
I'm sorry. Allegedly, he had a disease.
He had a skin condition.
Right.
And don't you touch his lace fronts because them was the baddest lace fronts I have ever. I mean, those were lace fronts that white women wish they had.
I mean, they were on a point.
Yes. So would you say it's the same thing? Because I see, because I look at it like, to me, she was passing. She actually passed. She did a great job in passing as a biracial woman. And I look at it also like Black women who wear blonde wigs, blonde weaves, who contour their noses for, to have more of a European aesthetic, to just all of those things, even down to wearing lighter makeup. I look at it like it's really no different. But there's no difference between the two. But there is a difference. Actually, there is a difference. The difference is that she was actually able to pull it off and get away with it versus Black women. Everybody knows.
Right.
So I want to bring to that statement, there is a difference, and you said it, because the Black woman is still a Black woman, and also we all know that Black people have naturally occurring blonde hair.
That's true.
That happens.
My son Marcus, for example, he has blonde hair. It's mixed in with his brown, but when he was born with blonde hair.
But white women also have curly hair.
They do.
Not exclusive to Black people.
No, but how? If So here's the thing. If she had worn her naturally curly blonde hair, that's what I'm saying. She didn't have to go the step to say, I'm black. She said that. She moved that way.
Right.
It wasn't just her taking things that she liked about the culture and wearing them.
Yeah, she actually said she was black.
Uh-oh, it looks like we're losing TJ.
And her parents called her out and went and did an interview and said she's white.
Daphne, let's say bye to TJ. She has to go stream on her channel.
Thanks for being here. It was good of you to join us.
Bye, TJ. Say bye to all the people who listen to you today.
Yes, bye to everybody who's listening. Everybody have an amazing, great, and safe day. Peace and blessings. This was fun. Let's do this again. Next time I don't have to tap out early, but I enjoyed myself. Peace out, y'all.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. The only thing that was the issue was that she just didn't go ahead and say, whoop-de-whoop, this is what I am.
Right. I think black women want to get in where they fit in, so to speak. But they're not saying, okay, I'm not black.
Right.
I like the blonde hair. I like the, whatever it is, makeup, blah, blah, blah. But they're not saying that they're anything other than what they are. Rachel went and said that she was black, knowing full well that she was not.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so, I think it's the lie. So it's not really, this or that. It's the lie.
Right.
Because guess what? We all don't mind having insane people in our lives, but when you lie to us and you have a problem, it's like, I don't want to deal with you.
Okay, well, maybe she was a little bit mentally ill.
That's what I'm thinking. It was something, psychologically going on. Something that's what I thought. And that's what I still think. I think that there's something more, something deeper. So
yeah, she may have had a little bit of self-hate.
That's possible. That's quite possible. And I think that was my whole point, is that there are people from other groups who do want to be black, and they are willing to
transracial.
Mm-hmm.
Where people are considering, like, I'm being transracial.
Right.
It's a man, and he, I guess, is European or something, and he wants to be Korean. And so he's having surgeries, and he's doing all these alterations to himself, and I guess immersing himself. I hope he's immersing himself in the culture, because I would hate to think that you would just alter your body and then be like, okay, now I'm Korean, because that's,
I believe he is. I think that he did go to the country, and he is like, he's immersing himself in the culture by traveling there. Yeah, I've seen that story. It's
the
weird.
minute he has a child, all that surgery just disappears.
That's when the lawsuits are probably going to kick in.
Right. We can ask them people whose last name starts with a K and ends with an Ashian about that. All that surgery goes out the window when you start having children.
Yeah, and that's the sad part.
Right.
Because I always wonder, and no offense to people who are having surgery, because however they feel about themselves, and I sometimes look at it like people have gone, I remember people used to have plastic surgery and say, because I want to feel good about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And now people are almost seemingly taking out the self-esteem component to surgeries. And it's more like the Mistress thing. It's what I want to do. It's like more this aggression or anger or, defensiveness against judgment. But if you're altering your body in this way because you want to look this way, isn't that an esteem issue?
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. They can say what they want to all day about it, but what God gave you is what God gave you. And you want to change it, go exercise, or eat less fatty foods, or wear a different color. But to go and get cut, that's not my thing. But I don't have that. My self-esteem issues are way different than that.
And I feel like plastic surgery was for entertainment and entertainers. People went into entertainment and they weren't the right look. And then their agent was like, you need to get the right look. And so they sent him to a doctor.
A la Connie Chung.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yep, she went the opposite way. She got her eyes surgically done so that she could look more American.
Okay. But again, she's an entertainer. Whether it's on the news, it's still entertainment. You still have to have people key into you.
True.
I will even go as so far to say workers of the industry for pleasuring people.
Right.
Whether you're dancing or doing other services. These people getting augmentations, enhancements. Okay, I still classify that as entertainment.
True.
But when the bank teller is doing it and the girl at McDonald's is doing it, whether it's your lips or anything you think is always minor, that has to be an esteem issue, because you can't, or you shouldn't, you can't take it off and put it on like a pair of ripped jeans, or people are following trends of clothing, somehow leached on to people following trends of their whole ass body. Like, that's your whole ass body. You don't get another body. Well, not in this 2020s, maybe in 2050, people will be like, just cut the head off and give them a whole ass new body.
Right. And a lot of those people that are getting surgery, like a lot of the women that are
celebrities,
breast enhancements are, a lot of them are getting it taken out because it's causing issues, lupus and cancer. I had a neighbor that she got breast enhancements and didn't get anything, way out of it. She didn't get a 38 triple F size. She just went and got her a nice respectable B cup because she didn't have it, and ended up having to get it taken out because she had cancer. She literally got cancer.
Yeah, that's sad. People are willingly putting foreign material and objects in their bodies.
Right.
So it's natural for the body to reject it because it's a foreign material.
Yeah. So eventually it's going to reject it, no matter how so-called safe it is.
Yeah, a lot of them cause autoimmune disorders as well.
Yep.
So
that's why I mentioned lupus, because it's, I'm like, the body is like, no, that's not supposed to be here. And if it can't get rid of it, it causes other issues.
Now, is this something that's actually like scientifically documented in medical journals, that there's a higher rate of autoimmune diseases where your body is fighting off like these foreign things, or people just like, oh, I'm getting sick, so I have to take it out?
There's a lot of women that it's not medically documented because, number one, they don't want people rushing to these doctors and suing them because they know that it's causing issues. But there are a lot of people that are trying to talk about it, but being hush about it. Like, take K. Michelle. Allegedly, she went to Dr. Miami and got silicone injections and got a BBL and got all this other stuff, and ended up having to take it out because she was getting lupus symptoms. She couldn't actually say, well, I went to this doctor, but it's documented because she's on TV getting fat sucked and injected, and it was documented on TV about who did it because they showed him on camera. And then all of a sudden she's sick, and she's saying, oh, well, this is making me sick and I got to get this taken out. And she documented that whole journey about her getting it taken out because she was getting sick. There's a lot of people out there that are saying it, but the medical community, and I'm doing air quotes, they're not talking about it because they don't want all these people that are getting cancer and autoimmune disorders and everything to come back and sue them. So why would the medical association document it? Because they don't want the downfall of their people. So they're not going to document that stuff. That's like, they know there's cures for cancer. They know there's cures for all this stuff. There's herbs and all this other stuff. But no, they want you to go to their pharmaceutical people because that keeps them rich. So they're not going to document it. And I'm doing air quotes again because they don't want the fallout from that. They don't want to be broke, so they're not gonna do that.
Right.
So
the profitability of this industry, it's, you know how big it is. You know how massive it is. So they're definitely not gonna do that. But I do think that there are studies. I believe that there are studies.
Almost definitely.
It's just, I don't think it's, you know, it's widely known or.
Yeah, but like, do you think people even care? Like, is it an immortality thing? Like, I'm gonna live forever, or I'm gonna die younger and beautiful? Like, you know, like my corpse is gonna be great.
I think short-term gratification for a lot of people outweighs that risk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember looking at something where it was an old talk show host a long time ago. I think her name was Jenny Jones.
Right.
And she was saying she was in, like, I guess a band or something, and she had those old 1980s silicone enhanced boobs, and they made her sick. She said everything with her health was fine until she got those in, and she got sick and she took them out. Right. And she was like, I'm going to speak out against this. And then also, like, Pamela Anderson, but I think when you have those people, they take their boobs so big that you're not going to be left with anything but deflated balloons. If you don't, they have to put something else back in there.
No, for her probably, but my neighbor that got that done, she did a double mastectomy, got hers taken out. Flat as a pancake, doesn't even have what she used to have because she had to have it taken out. She had to have it all taken out.
Right, that's the thing. She medically, she doesn't have boobs anymore. Like, her breasts are gone.
I think
that's what I'm saying.
Thing that people don't pay attention to, or they just don't. People don't do these things. Okay, when you get breast augmentation, they tell you should have them checked every so often, not just a mammogram, but you have to go and get them maintenance, probably replaced every several years. And when people get that stuff done, they don't do that. They just go, oop, one and done. I'm good for the rest of my life, or until it causes me problems.
Right.
But
those
you're supposed to get them maintenance every several years.
Yeah, they rupture, they your body's rejected them and you don't know what's going on inside of there. It's a lot.
Not even attribute it to that if once they start getting sick.
Right. That's true.
They don't necessarily go directly to, oh my gosh, it's these boobs that I got put in.
Right.
So, but yeah, they're supposed to have the maintenance though. I think like every 7 to 10 years.
I thought it was more than that. Well, I heard it was every couple years.
Okay, because I looked it up some years ago.
Right.
And I was like, let me see how much these things cost. Let me see. And
I'm trying to give mine away. They're natural, and these chicks are going and getting them put in. I want mine gone.
Okay, so it says most silicone and saline implants are FDA approved for 10 to 20 years, but this does not mean that you have to get them replaced every 10 to 20 years from the North Raleigh plastic surgery.
That's insane.
But wouldn't that be maintenance? You go and get them checked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says
the FDA is not gonna
But think about, people are getting them younger and younger. People are giving them to their 16-year-olds. So it says you can safely go beyond these time frames, and most patients only have 1 to 2 replacements in their lifetime. But how many people have replacements at all? The only people I've ever known to have them replaced was because they got upsized, like they gained weight, and they were like, "Oh, now he's floppy again." I'm like,
right. And that was my point in saying that people don't go and get the maintenance when they're supposed to.
Right.
So they just get them and they're one and done. They're fine. So,
yeah.
Okay, so I have another question.
Lay it on us.
It's not even a question. It's not a question, actually. So apparently today, in the year of our Lord.
Oh, she said our Lord.
In the year.
In the year of our Lord.
Landlords are suggesting that their tenants tip on top of their rent as gratuity.
You better get about my face, you slumlord.
First of all, landlord.
You guys heard of that?
No.
Hey, you know what's funny? I wanted to talk about tipping with you guys, and you took me to a whole nother level. I'm like all the way left. I'm gonna fight somebody.
I gotta Google that right now.
Services. They're saying for the 24/7 services, paint costs money. Having people, you have an emergency situation in your unit, and you call in and you need something. Yeah, they're asking that you tip because it's just gratuitous for you to do so.
Oh
it's
my gosh!
24/7 service.
You don't
read what I found. Can I read what I just found?
Yes.
Okay, so according to the data, and I quote, people are ripping a TikTok for suggesting tenants should tip landlords. 4 days ago, a TikTok of landlords arguing why tenants should tip them is getting massive backlash for suggesting they should pay even more to them. Now, first of all, your rent should take care of that, because most landlords, if they have any sense, are making you pay more than the mortgage, and I'm doing air quotes, what the mortgage is. So they are, in essence, paying
for any unforeseen.
Now,
yes.
Tipping, get the FFF out of here.
My computer is stuck on FFFFFFF. That's everything you stand for. I'm saying real quietly in the crazy part of my brain, fuck your grandmama. Okay?
Right.
Why did you go into the landlord business?
They said if people can tip for their chicken wing
for 8 years,
then they can tip for a landlord being on call.
Okay, first of all, why did you go into the landlord business? If you did not want to go into the landlord business and be on call, that's why landlords pay for property management companies. And nobody bothers you at all. So nobody has to tip your funky ass. I don't want to see you anyway. The hell out of my face.
Right. Either you are undercharging your tenant or you are a complete idiot. And both, actually, in both scenarios, you are a complete idiot if you think we're going to tip you. Tipping is for restaurants,
look,
delivery services, bartending. Above that, you can get the tip of somebody's you know what, because you're not getting it from me.
I just had a terrible vision of an eggplant.
A real big one. A real big one.
I mean, they're just trying to get in where they fit in, because
this is true.
Tipping is going up. The percentage of tipping is going up. It's like 25% now. So
okay, so boom. Here's my thought, and I was going to ask you guys about it, but why are we tipping? You're supposed to do good service. The cook is supposed to cook a good meal. You're supposed to bring it out to me with minimal issues. You see how I said minimal? I'm not even going to be a jerk about it. You might be having a bad day, but minimal issues. You're supposed to be aware of your your seating so you know who needs what and when, or at least to go by and say, hello. I don't like when I have to stare at somebody like a woman who wants to drink at a bar from a man they don't know. I'm like, hey, waiter. Like, now me and you are dating. What's going on here? Bring your ass over here and bring me some more water. What's wrong with you, stupid? So for me, tipping in general is offensive. It's historically offensive.
That's what I was going to say. It's historically offensive. Now, if you cannot afford your job, you need to either get some more education and go get a higher paying job, or get the F out my face, because I'm not tipping you.
F.
Now, if I see that you're going above and beyond and you're giving me conversation and I just get that air from you, you know, that the attention and are you okay? Do you need something else? You know, that's great. My food came out fast. It was hot. You're going above and beyond, paying attention to everybody in your little section. Okay, fine. All right. I might be feeling generous that day and give you more than the 15, 25%. But it depends on the waiter, how I'm feeling that day. Am I feeling extra black that day? Whether or not you actually get it, because it is offensive. We could only get tips as a people back in the day. We couldn't even get an actual wage, and most people wouldn't even give us that. So for you to say, "Oh, I think I deserve a tip," first of all, if you're not in the restaurant type business, no, you're not getting one. Period. Point blank.
My
charge that person more rent next time.
My thing is, it's like, if I've gotten free dessert and I've gone, oh, can I see the dessert menu? And I look at how much the dessert was, and I will tip that extra. You know, I was going to tip you this much, and then I'll see you gave me free dessert. I will tip you the price of the free dessert because, you know, you did me a solid. Thanks.
Right.
I see a drink. I see a drink's not on there. I'll tip that too.
So last night I went out to eat and we ordered some to go after our meal, right? So then our to go order, one of the orders was wrong. And when the waitress came back, I said, hey, this is incorrect. She said, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'll go ahead and get you your correct order. You can keep that one though, too. Should I have tipped her more because she gave me the one that
the messed up order?
Mm-hmm. Or should I just tip her? Should I have tipped her the same amount that I was always going to tip her?
I'm split on that, and I'll say because of this. All right, so that order that they messed up is going in the trash. There's nothing she can do about that. And it wasn't actually her fault that the order came out wrong. She went and put in whatever in the computer, wrote down whatever, and the people in the background screwed it up. Now, see, she's the face of it, so it's her
it's not
fault.
going in the trash. She just gave us the wrong order. We ordered, I think one order was, it was some type of pasta, but she brought us lasagna instead. I'm eating that lasagna.
Right.
So it's not going in the trash. I'm still gonna eat it.
No, what I'm saying is, if you gave it back, you know, it's going in the trash.
Yeah, it was going in the trash.
No, because the order got screwed up. She brought you the wrong order.
Okay, so for me, like a little spin, a person in our party has a no dairy diet, so they bring the food. And we, in the conversation, forgot to check. Because you know how some people will put pasta and they'll ask you if you want the parm after they bring it to you.
Yeah.
This place was a cafe. So they just boom, boom, boom and brought it out. And we were like, oh, it's parm.
Right.
Hi, can you do it again without the parm? And we go to give it back. And she goes, you want me to box this up for you? Because 3 of the 4 people had, 2 people had dairy in their food. So she's like, okay, you guys want me to just box this up for you? And I'll go fix that, no problem. So we offered to pay for that because that was our table's mistake enjoying each other. Right. And then she said, no. So when it came time to tip, I was like, oh yes, we have to tip her the price of that meal. When your situation, it depends on how great her service was after that fact, because it was the kitchen's error maybe, or her error maybe. I don't know whose error it was. Right. So I might tip her half of what it was because it was an error, but I feel like, you know, maybe her service was still good.
An error was had and she still, yeah. I get what you're saying. An error was had and...
Because a lot of people will take that right back to the thing and throw it in the trash. Okay, thank you. Well, I'll fix you up. Boom. And you never see that food again. So sometimes like that, if they're just like, oh, just keep it because, you know, I'm going to throw it away anyway. Yeah, I'll maybe because it was an error, I'll tip half of what the meal was.
Yeah.
If the service is good. Now, if I have somebody I have to keep finding on a smoke break, coming back smelling like a fart, I'm like, no.
Right.
This was not, you did not provide ambiance for me to enjoy myself. You're a trash person.
Now, see, I had this debate with an older person and they, we were all out eating and the service wasn't great. It was pretty bad. It was that very thing, not necessarily going off on smoke breaks, but forgetting to come to our table, forgetting to, you know, take our order, forgetting to bring us drinks, we had to flag down whoever was around and had a damn apron on. So it was bad, but yet, and it could have been like 5 or 6 at in our party.
Right.
With that happening, you know, I'm like, oh no, okay, this person is not getting a tip. If they get a tip, the tip is going to be do better.
Right.
So,
An emoji of an eggplant.
the older person was like, when it came down to tip time, they were fine with tipping this person and tipping them a nice, you know, chunk of change. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? And they're like, well, because they're they don't make that much money. So this will probably and hopefully help them out in their life. See, as far as taking care of their bills. And I was like, but they didn't even provide the service that they get a paycheck. They were supposed to provide an exceptional service or somewhere near, at least be attentive to their customers so that we can tip them. Tipping is the whole point of tipping is like, here's some extra change. Thank you for being prompt. Like, so why they didn't do those things.
Right.
They didn't do those things, then why are we tipping them and why are you going above and beyond to tip them even more than the base pay, like the base amount? And then they went into, you know, it's something personal for them. Their parent was a waitress and I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure your parent was more likely a good waitress because if they were like, they didn't deserve to be tipped either. So you have some people that tip based off of, I guess, being empathetic to the situation.
They're emotional tippers.
Versus actually tipping them based on the kind of service they provide, which I think it should be based on that. So I don't think that there should be any type of like emotional connection to that, because then you're giving people what they don't deserve and they'll always expect it. And that's why we're in this whole situation of to tip or not to tip.
No, we're in this whole situation because our beautiful country has a history of discrimination, and that's why tipping was started. But as current people, we have the ability to be good stewards in the world and say, you know what, as Americans, we don't need tipping.
Right.
The restaurant is going to charge a little. Look, I've been in Brussels and some other places, and they look like insulted because my natural instinct was give them some money.
Right.
And in Germany, one lady took the money, she rolled the euro up, put it back in my hand like I was a homeless person. oh, Americano, like, and she was from someplace else too. And she said, oh, Americano. And I'm like, oh, you're not from here at all. And she's like, no. And she's like, and even where I'm from, we don't do this. That's how we know when you guys come tipping. I get paid money where I can pay for my life. I was like, well, excuse me.
Yeah, tip is supposed to mean, like, I guess it's for short. It means to ensure promptitude.
Look.
And it's supposed to be a 17th century English thing, which it makes sense. The way that they were living back then and whatnot. I get it.
But they don't tip in Germany, and they don't tip in Brussels. The people, they don't
that's
tip.
American. That's an American thing.
Right.
No. I said that. So what it says historically is that it originated in the taverns in the 17th century in England.
Ah, okay.
That's what I'm saying. And then I said, I can understand if that was the case because of how life was then.
Right.
For the people there.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The whole world frown upon tipping. And here we are, still tipping.
Yeah, I know why America has started. I know why it's in America. I know why it's an American or considered an American thing. I was just giving that little tidbit of alleged history as per Google.
Right.
Right. So yeah, I would say if you get bad service, you can tip via the check and put it on the tab because the restaurant has to pay it.
And that's the thing, like in bars and things
for that for people.
I mean, but then what were they saying? Remember after the 19 and the pandemic, when they were like, oh, okay, well, what's going to happen is we can't get servers, we can't get restaurant workers, we can't get these people to come back because they want health insurance, they want vacation days, they want all this stuff, and we can't afford to give that to them. And I'm like, you're a whole corporation. I'm not talking about mom and pop shops. I understand what goes on in those places, but I'm talking about these restaurants, like saying that they cannot. Oh yeah, and I saw a fast food place with a tip jar. I almost kicked it over like.
Right.
Yeah, no, and I said that place because you know that their corporation also has more than just a fast food joint.
Yes. So when these places were like trying to figure out how to reopen, a lot of like single owned places, those owners were on different talk programs. And I heard a guy say, I can't get people to come back here. They don't want to deal with people. They don't want to get sick. I'm trying to offer them to pay, but I'm going to have to pass it off to the customers. So at this point, as a society in America, we have to decide, do we want to have someone else prepare our food for a night out of enjoyment? And if so, are we willing to pay an amount that says, I don't have to tip this person?
Good point.
If you're getting paid $15, $16 an hour and a nacho platter is already $20,
right.
How much are we willing to pay for an appetizer and some drinks on a Friday night after work?
Yeah, I get that, because nowadays you pull up to the fast food place and you're paying $100 to feed your family.
What was
cheaper
it?
To go to the.
I think I paid $14 for a burrito, and I just stared at it like, "Are we married?"
Like what's in here? Is there crack in here? What's in here?
I don't know, but I ate that burrito real slow, like it was
you did.
Cover. I was like, "Hello."
It was gonna be the last burrito on earth, huh?
Right? I was like, they don't make these ingredients any longer, and I'm just gonna savor it.
Right.
So yeah, we want to go out. We want to have a good time. Are we gonna pay the server, or are we gonna see the tipping go up, up, up?